what happens next? Once an organization is breached, what do you typically see?
Chaos, typically. So we don't understand the asset that's, who was patient zero. And in most cases, it's not just one machine. The event has gone on for a period of time, and it's usually more than one machine. And that also depends on the attack, the attack vector. Was it a phishing email? Now the accountant's computer is being encrypted, and things that they had access to are now you've got to consider those compromised. And so that's a much slower spread in a lot of cases. The other attack vector is that network attack where they used a 0-day or some other vulnerability or some other method to gain access to your network. They're going to spend months doing reconnaissance and getting prepared once they've identified you as a viable target. And then that'll be a coordinated deployment of ransomware. They'll send it out to the majority, if not all, of your devices all at the same time. Anything that's online is going to get infected all at one time. And it's usually going to happen, I think statistically, at the last thing I remember reading, it's usually on a Thursday morning, early morning. So you've got Thursday to think about it, Friday to plan for the weekend, and then by Monday, you're either paying the ransom or you've got a good head of steam to try and recover your environment. So bad guys are somewhat considerate, and they're business people. But on the inside, once you get infected, you've really got to understand what's the impact. And so if it's just one machine or two machines, and and those are just user devices, a laptop, a workstation, that's probably an easier discussion and an easier path to recovery. But if it's your production environment, most organizations that we've done response for, and they've ranged from 20 employee organizations up to 35,000 users. In every case along the way, there is at least some level of uncertainty with the devices that were infected. So, hey, that server 123 is infected. You should power it down, isolate it, and there's hesitation on the IT team because they're not sure what that server is or who owns it or what impact taking it offline is going to have. They're concerned about their job. We had one case where the multi-state ISAC said, disconnect your network from the internet right now. You've got ransomware. And the guy was like, if I do that, I'm fired. So how do I address this problem without getting fired? And so I think there's a couple of things that needs to happen. You should build a charter with your executive management that says, when this happens, I've got pre-authorized authority to take these steps. If I have to disconnect the internet, you've already told me I can do that if it's a ransomware or some other critical threat. If it's these servers, you've already told me I can take those offline. And that goes back to knowing yourself. Like, know thyself. You can't protect what you're not familiar with. You can't protect it well. So if you don't know the inventory of all your assets and how many assets you have and who owns them, business side, IT side, their function, their backup schedule, their user base, who are all that large environment with the 35,000 users, they thought there were only 3 admins in their environment. And when we looked into the log files and profiles, there were over 100. And that just over time, somebody said, I need more access. And so over time, that privileged user base grew. And it was one of those privileged users that compromised the environment because they also stored their business credentials in their personal Gmail account. And it was that personal Gmail account that was compromised some time ago. And so know thyself, know your assets, know their purpose, know their owners, get pre-authorization for critical incidents so you don't have to wake somebody up, wait, get a response, or even be hesitant about doing any of that. But yeah, I see that a lot. The chaos. There's so much unknown and uncertainty that that delay in response really made the incident worse.